Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Back with something a little different today. Um, I needed to get a project done kind of quick so that way I have it ready to run. And it's the Runaway Train. You guys haven't seen this on the channel for a while. Um, just got this back from a friend of mine. He had it for about a year. And so once I got it back, I kind of... While I didn't have it, I was trying to think about some things that I wanted to fix on it and do some upgrades. And you guys know I just finished the Ferris wheel trailers for the Carnival train, and I'm gonna get back to work on that. Just want to get this done pretty quick, and then we'll be back on the Carnival train stuff. But just as a quick one-time video here, I'm just gonna kind of show you guys what I've been working on with the Runaway Train. Kind of talk about some stuff that I've been upgrading on it, and pretty much just getting it ready to run. And so we'll kind of go through. I just recently rebuilt the damage on the front end of the lead unit. We'll talk about that in a minute because that's actually pretty cool. As far as like just kind of a quick overview of what I have been doing, I've been working mainly on the tops of these locomotives. Now, if you guys know the movie, if you've seen the movie, something that you've noticed is none of the locomotives have horns mounted to the tops. Even though in the movie there is a horn that plays a pretty significant part. You don't physically see any horns on the locomotives. That always kind of bugged me. And so I went and I put horns on these units. And I tried to stick with what would have been and what I actually know was there. These two units would have had, just from looking at the pictures of the real units, all of these are Alaska Railway units. These GP7s here, they would have actually had a horn mounted over the fan, and one of them had a horn mounted on the cab. I don't remember which one, but just for the sake of uniformity, I went and did a M3 right behind the fans there. Just figured that was a nice place for those. They look good. From the ground, they look really good. You guys can kind of get a better view of it from there. Also something that if you guys have seen this train in the past on my channel, you can also go and find those videos too. I put taller exhausts on. You guys can see these taller stacks. They're a little too tall, but they're not like overly tall compared to what they were in the movie, so I'm okay with those. Those are actually a 3D printed part. So I replaced the old stacks that I had put on there with these new stacks. These are all Athearn Blue Box units, and if you guys are familiar with Athearn Blue Box, these GP7s came with dynamic fans, single molded piece shell with dynamic fans. To get the non-dynamic versions, I had to completely cut out all of that stuff, all the whole dynamic braking area there. It even kind of went like back into the fan with a different kind of weather cover on it. So all that had to be cut out completely, and then I had to build these non-dynamic hoods from scratch. And then before I had replaced these exhausts, I had a shorter exhaust stack on there. Another upgrade that I've done this time around is, along with the horns, they all have firecracker antennas on the cab, just to try to add a little bit more detail up top. You guys can see when I first built these, I added the grab irons. All of this is hand bent brass rotting. I couldn't find packets of grab irons for these units back when I built these. In 2009 is when I originally built these. I built these before I started the Carnival Train project, so that's how old these are. So all the grab irons are hand bent out of brass rotting, so that was a lot of time and just drilling holes, bending everything, gluing everything. You guys will notice between these two units the railings are damaged. That is per the movie. I'm gonna try not to spoil the movie for anyone if you haven't seen it and you want to see it. Just any damage that you see is because it was in a spot in the movie. But these two Jeep 7s look awesome. They are on the what are they called? They're on the Alco trucks. They're like a AAR-B Alco truck, if I remember correctly. Nothing modified to get those to fit. It's literally just an Athearn blue box frame. The gearboxes and the wheels are from newer Athearn ready to run. That stuff is all plug and play on Athearn blue box frames, which is kind of nice. And then the AAR-B Alco trucks are old Athearn blue box era parts that fit right in. So one of the reasons I decided to go with Athearn on this project, just because the stuff is so versatile across the years. Other than that, just kind of did some paint work. My tops were a little bit too snowy on all these units, and I worked from pictures. I took a lot of screenshots of the movie on my phone, just because it is kind of hard to find actual good quality pictures from when they were filming this movie. So working from pictures, I kind of darkened up the tops quite a bit of where the heat from the engines would be melting the snow. Literally made it look as close as I could per the real ones in the movie. Areas where there's no snow, there's not supposed to be. Areas where there is heavy snow, there's supposed to be. Got the winter covers looking pretty good on these units. I love how the new exhausts look. I love the little addition of the horns. The F7, you guys notice it has a missing window. That is per the movie, a specific time in the movie. I won't say too much about it, but it is supposed to have a missing window there. This unit in real life is it's actually still out there. It's at a museum somewhere. It's Alaska Railway 1500 is the locomotive number, and its original horn is a M5, so it got my camera's not wanting to focus. So it got an M5 on a kind of a unique pedestal. That's how that's supposed to be. Kind of did same thing with this one. This top was just way too snowy, so I kind of went back and painted and weathered the whole top sections of how it looked in the movies. I know some of this might look a little silly, but it is exactly how it looked in the movies. And then, just for some context and spoiler alert, if you don't want to watch the movie, don't listen to this part. These three units are currently dummies, so you guys can see they're completely free rolling. They roll really nicely. I have them all on nice RTR trucks, but they're not powered. I do have engines in them, or I do have motors in them for weight, but they are not powered, and this is where the spoiler alert comes in. Those of you that have seen the movie know Jon Voight's character Manny decides to save the life of Eric Roberts' character and Rebecca De Mornay's character. They're in the cab of this unit. Manny has jumped across to this unit, done his whole thing with the warden, and decided to save their life, so he uncouples these units. So I've actually left these 3 dummies, so that way I can do a fun little scene where I can unhook and pull away from these units. Eventually I would like to get some power in these, just so that way if I wanted to have some fun and pull a train with these units, I would have enough power too. The only thing is, I upgraded this lead unit with DCC and sound, and I don't have DCC and sound for any of these at the moment. So eventually that is something that I would like to do, is upgrade these 3 units with new motors and DCC and sound. But for right now, they're just kind of playing their part as tag-alongs. And then the lead unit, it is just like the rest of these, it's Athearn Blue Box. It is not the correct era of GP40-2. It is a correct style of locomotive, but one of the mistakes I made, and it would take a lot of work to fix it. I would have to completely redo this unit from the bottom up. It's supposed to have a small fuel tank. I have a big fuel tank on there, and it's supposed to be a late era GP40-2. I have an early era GP40-2, and the only way you can tell is my radiator fans are the older style. It's supposed to be kind of that more straight up and down graded style that kind of stick out just a little bit more. But it is what it is. It still looks really good. It still plays the part really well. But I ended up putting a newer Athearn Genesis motor and sound and DCC panel into this unit. I did have to modify the frame a little bit where the motor originally sits. I had to cut a lot of metal out of there to get the Athearn Genesis motor to sit in there nicely. But it sits in there really good. I got shafts that were the right length, so this lead unit is completely powered with a brand new motor, nice new DCC panel straight from Athearn. It is a GP40 sound unit in it, and I did mount the speakers up. The speakers are mounted upside down, attached to the top of the shell just underneath here, so hopefully it'll sound alright. Hopefully I don't get too much shell rattle from the speakers. But this unit, I put the original unit had a P3 on it, so it got a P3 centered right between the 2 fans. That's exactly where it is on the real unit. This unit in real life has had a lot of modifications for like a steam generator. It's been actually extended out the back here a little bit more, but originally it just would have been a normal late era GP40-2. The GP40 and the F7, I both had firecracker antennas on when I originally built them, but they were homemade ones that were a little too big, so I got nice brass ones on there. So all of these units have matching antennas now. Only the lead unit and the F unit have warning beacons on them. The plow on the front of the F unit is actually a what is it? It's a Details West plow that I kind of formed to fit. That's, if you guys are familiar with Details West stuff, it's like that pewter or white metal, whatever you want to call it. It's very pliable. So that plow was just a standard locomotive plow that I kind of curved to help fit the front of the pilot. So that worked out really well. A lot of the other details are just custom made. Grab irons were custom bent. The MU hoses are actual Details West MU hoses. The air hoses are brass rod, and all that stuff's heavily weathered with snow. And then the biggest thing that I've been working on the past day or so is the front end. Now you guys know this is a pretty important part of the movie. This is, you guys can see I still have a lot of shiny stuff. I just rebuilt this, so I do need to repaint and re-weather it. But something I didn't really do the best when I first did this front end was study the photos from the movie. And that's where it kind of gets a little hard, because there's not really great quality photos that you can really like enlarge of this unit. There are some ones on the internet that you can find, but like I said, they're old. This movie was filmed in '85, and anyone who really got pictures of this didn't really have, you know, the most sophisticated cameras back then. And with this being back in 2009, you know, smartphones weren't what they were today. So actually what I went and did was I found a bunch of clips of the movie on YouTube and was able to pause and screenshot some really good clear clips of the shots of the front of this unit. And something that I didn't really portray the greatest on the original version of this was the fact that it's supposed to it's basically supposed to look like a monster mouth. The whole front of this unit, if you guys kind of, you know, use your imagination, you can see that it looks like a scary monster mouth. They really did good at making it that in the movie. When they did the damage to the front of this unit, they placed everything really well, and it really did look like a mouth. There's even old advertisements that portray this lead unit as a beast with a mouth, and if you guys go online, you can find some of those old advertisements. So that was my goal, was to really take some time, study my screenshots from the movie, and completely rebuild the damage on the front end. And I feel like I did pretty good. Yes, it's not exact. It's something that's extremely hard to get exact. Even with the screenshots of the movie, you know, some of them are kind of blurry. Some of them are really quick shots that I had to pause super quick. And, you know, without just having absolutely perfect high definition 4K pictures, it's kind of hard to get every little detail. So I did the best I could. I feel like I did pretty good. It doesn't stick out as far as it does on the real version. The real version, I think it like comes clear out to like where my, like if I put my finger there, I think it comes clear out to like the end of my finger there. That's a little long and it looks a little silly for me. When I originally did this, I took a piece of styrene and cut it out to a certain length and just made it kind of look good. I didn't really have a good way of extending this one without pulling it off and putting a whole new piece on there that was longer, and I really didn't want to do that because I didn't want it sticking out too far. I feel like it sticks out far enough, and you guys can still see I was able to portray that monster mouth, or the beast, the mouth of the beast, on this lead unit. I love how it came out now. It looks way better. Something I did was I kind of had to cut these teeth out of this lower piece. Studying my screenshots and photos, there was specifically these like 4 large teeth on the bottom that came out, and then there's kind of this like whole jagged big upper tooth section, and that's what really kind of gives it that scary mouth look. And I'll try to go around this really slow and steady, but you guys can see it looks awesome. I mean, it looks 100 times better compared to what it was before. If you guys want to see what it looked like before, you can find my older videos. But just getting things placed more right, like some of these hoses I got placed a little bit better. Like this piece here, I got that moved over and up and forward a little bit better. Added a lot of stuff I was missing. I did take quite a bit off of this. And it was kind of scary because it's kind of a delicate made thing. All this shiny metal is actually it's Reynolds wrap tinfoil, and you guys can actually see right here. That's what I'm using to get a lot of this like crunchy metal and bent metal and jagged stuff. Some of this stuff is still original, so some of it's been painted, but you guys can see just like a lot of this like jagged stuff. That's all tinfoil that I've kind of balled up, folded up, bent over, and it works. It actually works extremely well for like just if you want to make some crumpled metal. Tinfoil is awesome for that. It's super pliable. It is, in this application, it is kind of hard to, you know, get your shapes right. Like I said, it's not 100% perfect, but it is 100% better and way, way closer to how this looked in the movie. 100 times happier with this now. Before, I had just kind of made a bunch of junk and kind of laid it on there, and it looked cool. It looked, you know, it had a lot of nice detail in it, but it wasn't correct. It looked cool, but it didn't look scary. This, now that it's a monster mouth, it actually looks scary. Once I paint it, it'll look a lot better. Right now, it just kind of looks a little goofy because some things are painted, some things are shiny, but you get in on this, and you guys can really see just how much detail and time I've put into this. There's a lot of individual pieces going on here. Like, I have a brass rod right here kind of bent as a pipe. All of these hoses are little teeny rubber hoses that I bent and glued into place. I have some actual like parts of brake rigging, freight car brake rigging tucked in there. A lot of this messier stuff, that's all crunched up tinfoil. And then of course these jagged teeth at the end. And you guys can see I've got some rigidity in this now, and I'll tell you how I did that. I use Loctite super glue just for standard gluing. So just gluing this stuff on, that's what I used, but I had to find a way to kind of strengthen some of this, so that way I can paint it and it's not just going to fold under and break right away. So I actually used this Mr. Cement Deluxe. I love this stuff. It's really thin. You guys can see it's like watery. This glue is awesome for really small applications and really tight areas. And so what I did was, after I got everything glued on there how I wanted it, I did multiple coats of this and just coated it on really thick. It goes on super thin, which is nice, but you know, just doing full coats over all this stuff, making sure I'm getting underneath, inside, all my little cracks and crevices of everything. Got a couple coats of this stuff, and once it hardens, you guys can see I can actually tap that with my finger and it doesn't go anywhere. Now yes, it is still fragile, it is still very fragile, but that at least gives it some type of rigidity, so that way it's not just folding, and every time I want to run this I have to like refold all these parts and fix them every time. So that was kind of a little trick that I kind of came up with in the moment, because I was like, God, this looks so cool, but you know, some of that stuff's like super thin, tiny stuff. Just trying to get it to holding shape was fine, but just getting it to, you know, trying to find a way to get that stuff to stay in place was what I was worried about. So I just kind of came up with the idea of just basically painting it with a couple layers of this really thin glue, and that worked out really well, especially for like this piece right here. You guys can see how thin that is. It's just supposed to be like a thin piece of metal that got jammed up in there. So yeah, a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of studying my my screenshots to get it as close as I could. And I'm really happy with it. It looks awesome. It looks really cool. And like I said, after I get it painted, it's going to look way better. Right now, it does kind of look a little goofy because there's shiny parts and dark parts, and some stuff's weathered, some stuff isn't. So it's kind of a mess right now. It's supposed to be a mess, but it'll look a lot better after some paint and some re-weather. We'll get some new snow on some of that. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. I love that. I just love the fact that I can actually see that it has a mouth now, and that was really part of it. There was even a shot in the movie where this goes by, and I think they incorporated like a lion roar as this lead unit's going by, so they really portrayed this as a beast. This whole train's supposed to be this uncontrollable beast, and the damage on the front really allowed them to have some fun and really make the audience think that this is some type of scary, out of control beast. It has a mouth. It's scary. It's 1985. So the movie is it's got some stuff that if you're a railroad person, you're gonna pick out a lot of issues. But overall, it's a really awesome movie. The casting was like perfect for it. The dialogue is amazing. There's some amazing writing in this movie. It's not a really well-known movie. I feel like a lot of people haven't seen it, but a lot of people that haven't seen it should see it. Like I said, it's your typical 1985 kind of action thriller, kind of cheesy here and there, but honestly, overall, it's a really good, really powerful movie. A lot of cool stuff going on in there. I'm going to hit another spoiler here, so if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want stuff spoiled, don't listen to this part. I have my little Manny character. You guys might remember him from last videos that I've done on this. He's a custom painted character. You guys know the part of the movie where he gets his fingers caught in the coupler. You guys can see his fingers are fucked up. They're bleeding. I've painted him with some light snow starting to accumulate on him. He's got his correct clothes. This is just like a normal character that I had, or a normal figure that I had in my collection that was kind of in the right stance. So I custom painted him, weathered him up with some snow a little bit. And then you guys can see I have these little teeny brass rods sticking out of his feet. And on the winterization hatch on this unit, I barely drilled out just a couple holes so that way I can get his feet on there. Whoop. It's very kind of hard to do one-handed, but I'll try to get this to where you guys can see it. There we go. So now, in the end of the movie, how the movie ends, when he rides off into the distance, I have him, little Manny, chilling up there. I thought that was kind of a neat thing to do for the movie. Got him where he's kind of like leaning into the wind a little bit. And that's part of my fun with this. This is the only movie train I've ever done. I've seen other people model the units from like Unstoppable and Silver Streak, and this was one of those movies that really stuck with me as a kid. I remembered it. I kind of didn't watch it for a super long time, and then in my teen years I kind of found it again and really wanted to build this this set. So I've gone through a couple times of working on this and trying to make it better every time I work on this, and I feel like this time I really did a lot better as far as like some of my detailing, just making things look more per the movie and not get too crazy, but in a sense get crazy with it. But we have him, little Manny, riding the lead unit off into the abyss of snow at the end. So that's kind of a fun thing I did with that little character. And another reason why I'm kind of keeping those dummies just for right now, so that way I can easily do that. I can like do a little scene where I unhook, and if I can film it right with my phone, I can have this leading off, and then I can hopefully be steady enough to roll these to a stop behind it. Sometime I would like to make a cab interior for this where you can see the two sitting down in there. Right now it's just down to the frame, so that might be something for a later date, because I do have a lot of Carnival Train stuff yet to do, and I kind of want to get back at that. But I've been kind of building up some stuff for this for a whole year, so I really wanted to get this done and get it ready to run. The next time I'm invited to a layout, my buddy's layout, we're going to run this, and it's going to be awesome. The cool thing about this train that it does not really... It kind of gives you the vibe on the workbench here, but on a layout, this thing completely owns a layout. These two kind of have a hard time coupling together here. Anyway, when this whole set is on a layout, most layouts don't have like winter scenes on them like this, and so it's almost kind of like a ghost. It looks like a ghost train when it's on a normal layout that's modeled for like a summertime scene. I have had this on a couple layouts in the past. On DC layouts, it's never ran on a DCC layout. So now that it has sound in DCC, I can do that. But the layouts that I have ran this in the past, it was just such a cool thing to watch going around, because it's haunting. And that was something that I really worked hard to do. I wanted this thing to really own its own time and period when it's on a layout. It looks like it's not, definitely not from, even if you had the correct time period for some of these units on a layout, if you don't have a winter scene, this thing just looks so out of place, but in a good way. It really does look like a ghost train. And it gives that real haunting vibe when it's just flying down the layout. And that was something that I really loved about this project, was just the creativity, freedom in a sense. Like, yes, I was very strict on trying to make things look how they were in the movie, but just kind of experimenting with how to do the snow. The snow is just crushed up pastel with water, and basically make a paste and paint it on really heavy. That's how I got my snow effect. A little bit of white paint here and there to kind of get some ice effects, but for the most part, all the snow is ground up powderized pastel mixed with water and painted on as a paste. But yeah, it's such a cool project. I'm really happy to have it back. I'm really happy to have all this work done to it, because it looks the best it's ever looked since I've built this. And like I said, this is predating the Carnival Train. This is before I was working on planning for the Carnival Train when I built this, but I had not started anything for the Carnival Train. So this is pre-Carnival Train. So this at the time really did push my creativity, and as I said, especially with the front end, there was things that I could have done better. So over time, I've slowly been kind of going back and fixing some things and taking care of some issues that I just really wanted to take care of. So But that's it for this video, guys. Kind of a long talking video. Like I said, if you want to see some more of this prior to me doing all this work, if you kind of want to see the progression of what I've been through with it, you can find some older videos. I was going to build a whole new set, and I scrapped that whole idea. I just didn't have the time, and not having this set for a year kind of gave me some time to think about what I really wanted to do, and I feel like this time around I'm really happy with how it looks. It's not 100%, but it's my own. It's something cool. Not too many people have this set. There are a handful of others out there that have replicated the Runaway Train units, and there's some pretty awesome versions out there. But mine's one of them, so I'm pretty excited to be part of the club that is able to own a set of these. And yeah, guys, that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys kind of enjoyed my little show and tell of what I've been working on. I am going to paint and weather the front end there and get that done. I'm not going to show that on camera. This is just a one-time video to kind of show you guys what I'm doing before I get back to the Carnival Train. So next video will be Carnival Train stuff again, so hopefully you guys are excited for that. And until next time, take care.